University instructor caught on camera attacking an Indian student wearing a MAGA hat.
Pullman is farm country and is home to Washington State University, a campus that's focused on academic excellence and is supposed to be welcoming to diverse values and ideas.
But
so I was walking like this, my head down.
That's why CatDany says he never imagined his political leanings would make him a target.
Patrick just,
well, I could have imagined that.
Just probably hates Trump.
After a long day at work, the WSU junior says he got ambushed and jumped by Patrick Mahoney and Gerald Hoff.
Patrick, ripped the hat out of my head.
For wearing this bright red Trump cap.
He said to me, "Go get it, bitch," or punched me a bunch of times on the back.
CatDany says they unleashed a vicious beatdown, all caught on surveillance.
Oh, so they have because like I was thinking about like, okay, so like did this shit happen, right? But they got a video of it.
Cameras right in front of the Coug, a popular campus bar packed with students.
Gerald also kicked
it was
me
a teacher
a bunch of times too.
What?
Patrick.
See, this is the thing, is like nowadays, like if a crime happens, there's more angles for it than there were on the fucking, like, this is like a Hollywood movie.
He grabbed my chest, I slammed it on the concrete as I was falling.
He tried to defend himself.
So I had to go throw my food at his face.
But CatDany says 2 against 1 was just unfair.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, what the hell just happened?
And the melee left him with multiple scrapes and bruises.
Because of this, yeah.
Pullman police eventually found the pair nearby within hours of the chaos.
I've seen this guy campus before. Okay. I know he's like right-wing dude.
Mahoney and
I love how like he's like trying to explain it as if it makes any sense. It's like, yeah, bro, so I saw this guy and like his hat, bro, it just made me so fucking mad, man. And I just, dude, because you know how he is, right?
Hoff pretty much admitted to the allegations.
I like grabbed his hat, threw it, and I said like, go get it. We did grab him and bring him to the ground.
But tried to downplay the incident.
I didn't hit him. I don't think I did something illegal, right?
I don't think I did something fucking illegal, right? Now, I'm not going to say that we should send a person like this to El Salvador. But I will say that I would rather a person like this get sent to El Salvador than a random cherry picker that's an undocumented immigrant. I would rather it be him. That's just me. Sorry.
Something illegal, right?
It's unwanted touching.
It's unwanted touching. I don't know what that is, right?
In fact, Mahoney tried to victim blame.
He wanted to fight. He got what was coming to him.
He wanted to
The
fight.
officers
He got
did-
what was coming to him, for sure. After you just explained how his hat made you mad. Well, you see, the hat made me mad.
Didn't buy that story and arrested them on the spot.
You have the right to an attorney if you cannot afford one.
They're now facing 4th-degree misdemeanor assault charges.
See, the thing is that this country, was also built.
It's insane. So you have white people beating up brown people, again, to, I'm sure, fight against racism. This is so stupid. How does this happen? I know beating people would be illegal, but I decided this is some fucking right-winger. Yeah. I hope they go to jail. I do. I would be let's let out 2 guys. All right, let's say you're selling weed. You get to go. You get to go. It's not a big deal. Listen, I don't want to pay. Like, that's not, who cares? Like, let's let them out, and we're gonna put these other 2 guys in. Yeah, it's Easter. Yeah, it's Easter. I think this would be a great celebration. Yeah, it's a good trade. Yeah, why not? Swap them out. If the hate crime is punished harshly, why not political violence? I think that violence, so I actually do think this might be controversial with a lot of people, But I do think that in the same way that there's a difference between murder and manslaughter with intent, I do think that hate crimes should be criminalized more harshly than a baseline crime, because like there's an additional level of intent that's attached to it. But I also think that those hate crimes should extend to political violence as well. Harsher? Yes, exactly. And so, like, yes, I agree. I think that if you're committing crime and violence in the name of a political goal, that's worse than just committing violence as a baseline. Hate crime equals violent crime for no reason? Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, wanting to do it makes it different. Yeah, exactly. That's terrorism, isn't it? Maybe, right? People call hate crime all the time. Yeah, well, I don't agree with every time that somebody calls it a hate crime. I'm just saying that I think it's a good rule to have, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think that's normal. Like, of course, yeah, wow, take, a law has been abused before. Okay, well, let's get rid of laws. Well, this is a hate crime towards a belief, in my opinion. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm still against it. I don't think that there's a big difference. Yeah, I don't. I think it's pretty much the same thing.
You know, around tolerance.
Sonny says he doesn't know Hoff, but his prior interactions with Mahoney may have played a role in this assault, since the two are at opposite ends of the political spectrum.
Patrick said, I'm a communist because like, the system fails people.
Sonny is...
It's like a fish that lives in the water that says, man, I'm a bird. No, you're not. You are... How do you think the university gets money? How do you think that you exist in society? It's amazing, like, how these people think that they're communists and just shit. What are you talking about?
A Republican and volunteers with conservative groups on campus like Turning Point USA.
Can you tell me about Patrick?
He seemed like a nice dude.
Mahoney is a WSU graduate student and instructor, teaching a freshman-level political science class.
So let me get this straight. The person who initiated physical violence based off of a political reason is a instructor at the university for freshmen in political science. Now, I want to say that this literally hits every single stereotype and every single fearmonger point that you have. Like, this is a perfect royal flush. It's crazy, and he's a communist.
His beliefs and...
By all accounts, Mahoney is a notorious far-left activist.
Of course, I'm going to think you are beyond insane.
Who hates conservative values and is a regular at pro-Hamas protests in the...
God, can't we do something about this? We gotta feel like... Can we put him in jail or something? Like... See, this is the thing, right? Is like, we already have this jackass in our country, and we have to deal with him because of the freedom of speech, First Amendment. We've got to fucking deal with this asshole, right? This is the whole reason why I was like, we don't need to import more of these retards. We already have enough of these retards here ourselves. We already have enough of these that we can't even deal with the ones that we already have. Please stop bringing in new ones.
City.
Almost 30,000 Gazan civilians have been killed.
Recently, he was part of a group pressuring the Pullman City Council to pass a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, but that went nowhere.
To support the revolution, support the resolution.
Workers everywhere are rising up.
Sani says Mahoney has strong ties to the Democratic Socialists of America, progressive pro-labor groups, and is someone who publicly touts his admiration for the...
Yep.
Who publicly touts his admiration for the Communist Party. Look at the hammer and sickle pin he's wearing in this official school photo.
Mahoney's goal is to turn this country into a communist dictatorship where...
Can we have a system where we take people that are big fans of these other countries and we have like a civilian or a citizen exchange program where we can exchange them for people in other countries that are better Americans. And like it would be voluntary, right? So like can we get like an Iranian or somebody like that? Like I know plenty of great Iranians. Can we just get one of them and bring one of them over here and then like we can send him over there? Or like Cubans. Yeah, like there's a lot of great Cubans. I feel like this is, see, we have the gold card, but what about the gold exchange? The North Koreans, yeah, exactly. Like they don't want them. The funny part is that you're right. None of these other countries would agree to that because they're like, no, you're not going to take our good citizens and replace them with your retards. No, you don't know. You're not going to ship your retards over here. Absolutely not. It's like us shipping like fucking radioactive fucking, you know, depleted uranium over there. Like, no. It's a really good idea. Yeah, I don't know why we can't have a citizen exchange program for this. It'd be a great idea. This is how Australia was started? Well, no. I mean, we weren't really bringing anybody back from there. It's just that they just got dropped off. Citizen default. Yeah, nobody wants them. You offer reduced tariffs. It's a 100 to 1 rate, a 2 for 1. So wait, they get 2 of our retards, or do we get 2 of their good people? Because I feel like it's at that point somebody loses twice either way, right? 2 for 1, yeah. 2 retards for 1 good person. Well, that makes it even worse, though, right?
Communist authoritarian system.
I give him a hit to be like, yo, don't with this anymore.
This violent incident happened in late February.
I also love how this is a person who's like a big communism enjoyer, and you're wearing an Adidas hoodie. What do you think the age of the person is that made this? Do you think it's single digits or not? Oh, God.
Violent incident happened in late February, and the school temporarily suspended Mahoney from classes and teaching.
I'm gonna be real. If I was Trump and I saw that they only temporarily suspended him for doing this, I would cut all of their funding for the entire university. I don't want my tax dollars going towards funding universities that provide any sort of, like, this, in my opinion, is this is just direct criminal violence. There's no, like, don't I as a person, like, I had to do my quarterly taxes recently. That was a lot of money. That was a crazy amount. And I have to fucking pay for this shit? You did unbiased teachers? Yes. I don't think a 7-year-old can make a perfect Adidas t-shirt though. Well, yeah, but maybe he can get the stuff together, right? Maybe he's 8. Maybe the supervisor is 9.
Duties. But Sonny is speaking up now since he's hearing his attacker could be reinstated and doesn't want that to happen.
Wait, why? Wait a minute. Why was he ever uninstated? Well, wait a second. How did this happen?
Really
Wait. Oh, sorry. I misunderstood. I misunderstood. I thought that the person who got assaulted got removed. Just mental error. Okay. He really shouldn't be? Yeah.
Teaching here, and in my opinion, because, you know, if you can't tolerate different opinions, then what's the point?
No, yeah. Did what they gotta do. That's what they gotta do. They gotta go. Trump just cut their funding. Cut their funding 100%. Throw down the gauntlet. Say, bro, put your dick on the table. Say, listen, bitch, this is how it's gonna be. That's what I want my tax dollars to go to. That's what I support. Absolutely. No, that's the way it is. Lay it out. If you're literally beating up students, you need to be fired. There is literally no other side to this. There's no other side to this at all. You're 2v1ing a student because of a hat. And there's even a conversation. You should be lucky you're not in jail.
School leaders
What
would
about
not
the revolution, though, man? In a real revolution, this guy would be killed in the first 5 seconds. He's some liberal, weak soy boy that needs to 2v1 a random Indian guy over a hat. He'd be dead instantly. What are we talking about?
not comment on this matter, citing student privacy laws.
I wanted to see if Mr. Mahoney wants to tell his side of the story.
No, go away.
Mahoney refused.
Now go away. I mean, to be fair, think about all the subreddits that he has to be a moderator for. I mean, if he did this interview, there might be 3 people that had opinions on those subreddits that he disagreed with that would go unpermabanned. Yeah, he can't leave his post.
To talk after I door knocked him at his off-campus apartment.
Gerald's in the black. Gerald Hoff is in the black.
We were unable to reach Hoff to get his side of the story.
What a surprise.
But found his LinkedIn account indicating he's employed at WSU. Again, the school would not comment on Hoff's status either.
This is crazy. This is crazy. I think that conservatives need to pull out the cancel culture Karen energy for this and totally get this school defunded until they completely remove these people with no reservations at all. They need to go Karen mode as hard as they possibly can. I feel like these guys are getting away with it. Yeah, and the reason why they do this, see, this is the thing, is that if you want people to stop doing something, punish them. Then they stop doing it. It's so easy. So, tweet this to Elon. Yeah, somebody needs to hear about this. Yeah, can somebody tell Donald about this? That's every university here is Washington State? No, you don't need to. The thing is that making people, you don't need to be fair in order to get what you want. Trump is really good at this because Trump is basically, in my opinion, I think he is a psychotic, psychopathic, mafia, basically guy. I think he is. I like Trump in a lot of ways, but that's what I think he is. There is nothing scarier for people than the unfairness and the flippant randomness of a person like Trump. That is terrifying. The reason why is because you can say something negative about Trump and maybe he'll laugh it off. Or you can say something about Trump and maybe he'll have an investigation into you that you potentially get tried for treason for and you die. That's what happens. People are terrified of unfairness. And if you look at all of the most effective leaders in history, the most effective way of controlling people is to not be fair. Because when you're not fair, people will never push the line because they're afraid to. This is something that YouTube does. YouTube lets people run wild all the time, but every once in a while, there's a sacrificial lamb and YouTube crucifies them. And it is so effective. Aren't they called tyrants? Well, no, if they get killed, yeah. But usually they're called leaders, visionaries, and people that change the world. What do you think, that only the bad guys did this? No, everybody did this. Everybody does this. Yes, and so anyway, something to World War II? No. Some Stalin shit? Do you think he's the only one that does this? Absolutely not. Yes, and so, no, that's what Trump should do, because he doesn't need to do it to everybody. All he needs to do is do it to one person, and then if you set an example. And I think that it's the best to do it. the best way of doing it, there are two components to this that are incredibly important to make it the most persuasive thing possible. Number one, it has to be as extreme as you possibly can be. And number two, it has to be at least partially random. Because if you apply these two things together, you create the optimum amount of fear. And that level of fear causes people to do what you want. That's it. And Trump knows this. Trump does this. I'm surprised he hasn't done it yet. Are we talking public execution level extreme? No, we can't do that. That's not legal. You can't do that. Why not take the high road? Because they don't. And also, I would view this is the high road. There are a lot of things you could do that are way worse than this. I'm not advocating for any of those. That would be evil. I think this is the high road. Make consequences great again? Yeah, I don't think he's unfair. I think that in a lot of cases he is he will go hard on one thing and then not on something else. But that's what I think that people should do. And that's the best way to control things. I agree with what you're saying. Yes. And again, you might think that what I'm saying is unethical, it's immoral, it's evil, etc. You can be right about all of that, but it works. It works. And you want people to do what you want, you do that.
You know, Trump won the elections because the left was so toxic.
And I will say again, I would much rather somebody who employs unethical and immoral activities to act in my behalf than to allow somebody else to employ unethical and immoral activities to act against my behalf. Because those are the two states of existence in human history. That's it.
Meanwhile, Sonny is still wearing that MAGA cap and frequently getting dirty looks on campus.
Who cares?
But he's also getting tons of love from students and faculty who respect him for sticking to his convictions.
You must be sick and tired of getting bullied.
It does become exhausting, yes.
The university's now preparing for an event on April 17th featuring TPUSA founder and CEO Charlie Kirk.
You can't express your beliefs like as openly as some of the left-leaning students can. Like when I'm tabling for Turning Point here on campus, I've been cussed out, I've been flipped off.
It's already drawing online chatter from violent militant groups like Antifa and other left-leaning students who are promising to disrupt and cause chaos.
So basically a dictatorship is fine as long as you benefit from it? I don't think that it is a dictatorship. I think that exercising a degree of, like, is it a dictatorship to withhold funds from an organization or a group that is intentionally allowing crime to happen and turning a blind eye to it? How is that being a dictatorship? Because in my opinion, I think a dictatorship would be saying that we don't have the choice to do that and that we have to spend our money on that. I think the fact is that the idea that the taxpayers and that the government should work in the best interest of the taxpayers, I think that whenever you have and you're taking people's money, you do have an ethical responsibility, and even I would argue a moral responsibility, to use that money in a way that is in their benefit. And if you're taking their money and you're using it in a way that's not in their benefit, I think that you are effectively betraying them. And so when I see a person that's funding an organization that actively is like, you know, just allowing violence, right? Literally allowing and paying people that are committing political violence, no. No way. No way. Absolutely not. I don't want my money going to that at all. So yeah, that's not a dictatorship, guys. That's common sense. Better call it authoritarianism than dictatorship? Well, I believe in authoritarianism. I think that the authoritarianism should come from the taxpayers. And I think that the taxpayers voted to not have this level of behavior in government. And I think that that authoritarianism is through the people. This is what we voted for. Not, I mean, actually not even we, right? I didn't vote. But like, this is what people voted for. And I do want authoritarian. I wish that the people understood that they were the authoritarians. It was never the government. It was never the bureaucracies. It was always the people. If we could afford authoritarianism, ideally we'd want to do that, right? No, I don't think so. Because I think that really what you're asking for is that does a citizen have the right to dictate where their money goes? Yes. Unequivocally, yes. Yeah. Like, just absolutely yes, without any sort of restrictions whatsoever. Yeah, we vote with our money. Yeah, we are voting with our money, exactly. The citizens are the authoritarians, and I think that the government needs to remember that.